Under the cold hum of fluorescent lights, a high-tech lab gleams with promise. Sarah Chen, bathed in the screen's glow, fixates on the labyrinth of data before her. Her focus sharpens, the digital numbers blurring as she zeroes in on batch 37B. The weight of discovery presses heavily as she leans closer, her expression unreadable. A silent tension fills the room, the fate of her research hanging in the balance. The cold glow of the computer screen illuminates a lab, revealing a disturbing spike in cardiac arrhythmias among VitaLife test subjects. The data pulses ominously, hinting at unseen dangers lurking within the seemingly beneficial drug. Each line of code screams silent warnings, painting a grim picture of potential health disasters. The screen reflects a stark reality. VitaLife's promise hides a deadly secret. In the stillness of the night, Sarah's hands tremble as she gathers the reports. The printer buzzes, a mechanical drone amid the quiet dread. The reports stack up, each page a layer of mounting tension. Sarah's eyes dart around, the silence amplifying her apprehension. She clutches the reports, their weight heavy in her grasp. The hum of the printer fades, leaving only the echo of her racing heart. Sarah stands poised, presenting her data, the tension thick in the air. Mark, oozing arrogance, leans back, his condescending smile cutting through the room. The power dynamic is palpable, Sarah's professionalism clashing with Mark's dismissive demeanor. Her resolve hardens, her eyes reflecting determination despite the stifling atmosphere. Mark's office exudes power, the desk a fortress of paperwork, as he reclines with an air of untouchable ease. Sarah stands before him, her discomfort radiating in the charged air, a stark contrast to Mark's calm demeanor. Mark's voice cuts through the tension, a casual dismissal veiled as reassurance. "Sarah, you're new here." His words drip with condescension. "Trust the process," a patronizing shield against the unsettling truth. The chilling promise hangs in the air. These things have a way of working themselves out, a hollow comfort in the face of looming uncertainty. Sarah faces the HR representative, her posture reflecting a controlled unease as she clasps her hands tightly. Her voice, though steady, hints at the frustration simmering beneath the surface as she recounts her findings. The HR representative listens, her expression a mask of bureaucratic indifference as she takes notes. The scene underscores the growing tension between Sarah's earnestness and the HR representative's detached demeanor. In the sterile HR department, sunlight dances around Miss Chen as she awaits her fate. The HR representative smiles thinly, a practiced mask of concern. "We'll look into it, Miss Chen. Thank you for bringing this to our attention." Miss Chen's unease grows as she nods, trapped in the HR representative's gaze. Weeks later, Sarah finds herself in a basement office, a stark symbol of her demotion. The windowless room, filled with stacks of outdated paperwork, intensifies her isolation. The small, confined space becomes a visual representation of her professional exile. Each document, each file, is a reminder of her diminished status and a clear act of retaliation. The weight of her reassignment crushes her. In the dimly lit basement office, Sarah hunches over a wooden desk, her workspace illuminated by a single lamp. The scent of old paper and dust hangs heavy in the air as she meticulously documents every detail in a worn, leather-bound notebook. Her brow is furrowed in concentration, each interaction, threat, and retaliation recorded with unwavering focus. The scratching of her pen against the paper echoes in the stillness as she continues to write. Sarah sits alone, her movements precise as she consumes her lunch under the sterile glow of the fluorescent light. The cafeteria hums with a mechanical monotony, amplifying Sarah's solitude. David shuffles into view, his lab coat slightly askew, his face a roadmap of years dedicated to science. He approaches Sarah's table, his presence a stark contrast to her composed demeanor. The fluorescent lights cast long shadows as David nears, a silent prelude to an unspoken encounter. The lab cafeteria buzzes with the monotonous hum of the coffee machine. David leans in, his expression grave, as if sharing a dangerous secret. Whispers of VitaLife hang heavy in the air, unspoken yet palpable. "I've heard whispers about what happened with VitaLife, Sarah," David says, his voice barely above a murmur. He concludes with a tone of shared unease. I'm not happy with what's going on here either. In the dimly lit office, Sarah and David huddle together, brows furrowed as they scrutinize the data. Their fingers dance across the screens, tracing lines as they meticulously compare notes. Shadows stretch across the walls, amplifying the palpable sense of secrecy and urgency that fills the room. Evidence mounts as they compile their findings with unwavering focus. The air crackles with tension as they draw closer to the truth. In his office, David stands amid scattered papers, a storm of determination brewing within. He turns to Sarah, his eyes blazing with resolve. David's voice resonates with urgency. "This is bigger than both of us, Sarah. We have to do something," he asserts, a solemn vow hanging in the air. In the dim solitude of her apartment, Sarah lies awake, her eyes wide and fixed on the ceiling. The gravity of her choice settles around her, a tangible weight in the stillness. The silence amplifies the internal conflict, the decision to go public pressing heavily on her. Each shadow in the room seems to whisper doubts, the weight of responsibility palpable. The room is filled with a sense of anticipation as she prepares to face the world. The room is filled with shadows, the dim light casting long shapes across the walls, highlighting Sarah's solitude. Her face etched with resolve, a silent promise of action hangs in the air. Sarah's voice pierces the silence. "I can't live with the guilt of complicity." The weight of her words echoes in the dimly lit apartment, emphasizing her inner turmoil. Her voice strengthens with conviction. "I have to do what's right." In the face of overwhelming darkness, Sarah's determination shines as a beacon of hope. Amid the relentless pulse of the city, Sarah prepares to meet a well-known investigative journalist. In the heart of the city, Sarah meets the investigative journalist. Sarah solemnly declares, "Here is the comprehensive dossier of evidence." The investigative journalist accepts the dossier with a serious expression. Amid the city's relentless activity, the journalist clutches the dossier tightly, a look of determination etched across his face. The newsroom buzzes with frenetic energy as the VitaLife story dominates every corner. A symphony of ringing phones and hurried footsteps fills the air, each sound amplifying the urgency. Amidst the chaos, focused determination etches the faces of those chasing the truth. The collective effort pulses with a shared mission to uncover the heart of the VitaLife mystery. In the dim morning light, Sarah stares intently at the television screen, her expression a mix of shock and disbelief. The news unfolds the chilling reality of the VitaLife scandal, its stock price collapsing into a bottomless abyss. Sarah's eyes widen further, reflecting the stark realization of the unfolding disaster. The graph on the screen serves as a haunting symbol of VitaLife's impending doom. The pharmaceutical lab descends into turmoil as the scandal unfolds, its sterile environment now echoing with palpable dread. Mark Olson's face reflects the chaos, his eyes wide with fear as the weight of the unfolding crisis crashes over him. He stares blankly ahead, each new revelation hitting him like a physical blow. Mark's mounting fear is palpable as the scandal tightens its grip, threatening to engulf everything he holds dear. He struggles to maintain composure, but the lab's cold, harsh light only amplifies his increasing despair. He clenches his fists, a silent scream trapped in his throat as his world crumbles around him. Under the harsh glare of a single spotlight, Sarah sits alone at the witness table, her figure stark against the sea of faces. Behind her, the gallery buzzes with restless energy, reporters scribbling and spectators straining for a glimpse. Before her, a panel of senators looms, their expressions unreadable, their silence adding to the suffocating tension. The air crackles with anticipation, every breath held, every movement amplified in the charged atmosphere. Metallic microphones rise like silent sentinels, poised to capture every word, every nuance of the unfolding drama. The weight of expectation bears down on Sarah as she prepares to speak, her fate hanging in the balance. The hearing room buzzes with anticipation as Sarah, poised yet determined, faces the congressional panel. Stern faces surround her, the congressmen and women a wall of scrutiny. Cameras flash, capturing every flicker of emotion on Sarah's face. Reporters scramble to document every word, every nuance of the unfolding drama. With unwavering resolve, Sarah declares, "The truth is, VitaLife was causing significant harm to patients, and the company knew it." Her words hang in the air, a stark accusation against a powerful corporation. Under the stark glare of the hearing room lights, Mark Olson visibly sweats, a storm of accusations gathering around him. A senator's voice cuts through the tension. "Mr. Olson, let's be clear. Are you saying you had no knowledge of these activities?" Olson squirms, attempting to deflect. "With all due respect, Senator, I was not directly involved. My staff handled those matters." The senator's skepticism sharpens. "But as the head of the department, wouldn't you be ultimately responsible?" Olson's evasion drips with desperation. "Responsibility is a broad term, Senator. I trusted my people." The pharmaceutical lab stands almost empty, a sterile monument to shattered hopes. Empty lab benches stretch into the distance, tools untouched. The once bustling space echoes with silence, the absence of activity a stark reminder of VitaLife's failure. Each empty workstation tells a silent tale of dreams dissolved. The sterile environment reflects the cold reality of a promising drug pulled from the market. The air hangs heavy with unspoken disappointment, a future unwritten. The soft glow of a lamp paints Sarah's apartment in a warm light, highlighting the untouched stillness of her evening. The sudden ringing of her phone shatters the calm, drawing her attention with a piercing sound. With a questioning glance, Sarah answers, "Hello?" A voice from the other end speaks with purpose. "Good evening, Miss Sarah. My name is David from Ethical Pharmaceuticals. We are impressed with your resume, and we would like to offer you a job." The unexpected job offer hangs in the air. In the heart of the biotech firm, a bright, open office buzzes with collaborative energy. Sunlight streams through the glass walls, illuminating the faces of researchers immersed in their work. Ethical considerations are etched on every face as the scientists work together. A palpable sense of integrity fills the air, shaping the atmosphere. Sarah settles into her new office, the weight of purpose settling onto her shoulders. She begins reviewing the data, each line a step forward on her reborn career path. The numbers dance before her eyes, a symphony of potential and progress. In each calculation, Sarah sees a chance to redefine herself and her future. The office hums with potential, each corner filled with the promise of success and redemption. With renewed vigor, Sarah embraces her second chance, ready to carve her destiny. Bathed in the warm glow of the sun, Sarah and David stroll through the vibrant park. The gentle breeze whispers through the leaves, creating a symphony of nature's quiet. They exchange a knowing smile, a silent acknowledgement of their shared resolve. In their eyes, there is a quiet sense of accomplishment. They walk on, knowing they did the right thing. The pharmaceutical lab buzzes with life as scientists navigate the space, their work bathed in the light of technological marvels. Beakers bubble, robotic arms whir, and data streams across large displays, each element contributing to the symphony of discovery. Every experiment, every data point, is meticulously recorded and accessible, reflecting a shared commitment to the mission at hand. The lab stands as a temple of scientific advancement, where minds converge and technology empowers. The atmosphere hums with focused intensity, each scientist driven by a shared vision of groundbreaking discoveries. The team works with unwavering dedication, their efforts echoing through the state-of-the-art facility. In the heart of the new studio, an investigative journalist commands attention from his news desk. Behind him, a screen illuminates the narrative with images of pharmaceutical innovations and smiling patients. His voice resonates with conviction as he speaks of change. Inspired by Sarah's courage, the pharmaceutical industry is undergoing positive changes, prioritizing patient well-being and ethical practices. The images on the screen reflect a hopeful future, underscoring his message of transformation. His steady gaze and unwavering tone broadcast a message of hope and progress. The studio buzzes with an air of optimism, fueled by the promise of ethical advancements in medicine. Sarah stands at the window, her face soft with serenity. A wave of hope washes over Sarah, her eyes reflecting newfound peace. The sterile halls of her past fade into a distant, cold memory. Fulfillment blossoms within Sarah as she embraces her new path. Sarah smiles, the corporate world now a faint echo in the distance. Sarah stands in the dim light of the pharmaceutical lab, her eyes fixed on the cold, accusing numbers. The data glows ominously, each digit a silent hammer blow against her resolve. Batch 37B stares back at her, an unyielding testament to her worst fears. The numbers dance mockingly before Sarah's eyes, a dizzying kaleidoscope of failure. Each number is a tiny indictment, condemning her efforts, her hopes, her dreams. She stares, transfixed, as the weight of the data threatens to crush her. A stark revelation unfolds on the monitor. The rhythm of life falters. The screen pulses with ominous data, revealing VitaLife's dark side. Each blip on the screen echoes a life thrown into turmoil by the drug. The lab's sterile environment becomes a canvas for a silent, deadly crisis. The monitor's cold glow reflects the chilling truth behind VitaLife's promises. The data streams converge, painting a grim portrait of cardiac failure. Sarah stands in her cubicle, the silence amplifying her anxiety as she watches the printer. The hum of the printer grows louder, each whir a hammer blow to her resolve. Her hands tremble as she reaches for the reports, the weight of her discovery heavy in her grasp. The incriminating reports slide out, each page a stark testament to betrayal and deceit. She clutches the documents tightly, her heart pounding in rhythm with the relentless hum of the machine. In Mark Olson's stark office, Sarah stands poised, ready to present her findings. Mark Olson reclines in his executive chair, his face marked by a dismissive sneer. The data in Sarah's hands seems to weigh heavily against Mark's smug demeanor. Mark's gaze remains fixed, a silent challenge to Sarah's meticulous work. The tension in the room thickens as Sarah prepares to unveil the truth. Mark sits behind his imposing desk, a fortress of oak and indifference. Sarah stands before him, a visible storm of worry brewing beneath her brow. Mark gestures with dismissive ease, the embodiment of corporate calm. "Sarah, you're new here," Mark begins, his tone dripping with condescension. He finishes with a patronizing assurance, "Trust the process. These things have a way of working themselves out." In the sterile confines of the HR department, Sarah faces an unyielding figure of corporate indifference. The HR representative, a portrait of bureaucratic coldness, listens with detached interest. Sarah leans forward, her earnest expression a plea against the wall of apathy. Her voice trembles, recounting the details of Mark's reaction, but the representative's gaze remains impassive. A tense silence permeates the HR department, filled with forced politeness. The HR representative speaks, her tone artificially sweet. "We'll look into it, Miss Chen. Thank you for bringing this to our attention." Miss Chen stands rigidly, the words of the HR representative echoing emptily around her. A subtle flicker in the HR representative's eyes hints at a lack of genuine concern. Miss Chen's hope dwindles, overshadowed by the HR representative's disinterest. The forced cordiality hangs heavy as Miss Chen acknowledges the empty promise. Weeks later, Sarah finds herself exiled to a dim, windowless basement office, engulfed by towering stacks of forgotten paperwork. The oppressive silence of the basement amplifies the sting of her reassignment, a clear act of professional vengeance. Each glance at the endless files is a stark reminder of her demotion. The fluorescent lights flicker, casting long shadows that dance across the piles of documents, adding to the gloom. The sheer volume of paperwork becomes a physical manifestation of her isolation. She is buried, professionally and emotionally, beneath the weight of the past. In the basement office's dim light, Sarah sits, a solitary desk lamp illuminating her determined work. Every threat, every retaliation, each detail meticulously documented under the lamp's glow. The pen dances across the page, capturing every nuance with unwavering precision. In the quiet intensity of the basement office, Sarah commits each grievance to paper, line by line. Under the sterile hum of fluorescent lights, Sarah sits alone, lost in the methodical ritual of her lunch. The cafeteria buzzes with the mundane symphony of lunchtime, yet she remains isolated. A figure emerges from the periphery, David, his face a roadmap of experience and fatigue. His presence cuts through the solitude, a silent question hanging in the air as he approaches. The hum of the lights seems to intensify as David prepares to break Sarah's quiet contemplation. Under the sterile hum of fluorescent lights, the lab cafeteria seems cold, its tables standing empty. David leans forward, his face etched with concern. David speaks, his voice hushed, I've heard whispers about what happened with VitaLife, Sarah. His unease deepens as he admits, I'm not happy with what's going on here either. In the dim light, Sarah and David pore over documents, their faces etched with concentration. Their fingers dance across the data. A silent symphony of investigation unfolds. Shadows deepen as they compile evidence, each piece a step closer to the truth. The secrecy of the night envelops them, enhancing the intensity of their pursuit. David stands amidst scattered papers, the desk lamp casting a soft glow around him, his face etched with concern and determination. He turns to Sarah. His voice, firm and resolute, cuts through the stillness. This is bigger than both of us, Sarah. David's intense gaze underscores the gravity of his words. David leans forward slightly, emphasizing the urgency in his plea. We have to do something, he insists, his voice laced with a hint of desperation. In the dead of night, Sarah lies awake, her eyes wide and unblinking in the suffocating darkness. The weight of her impending decision presses down on her, each option a heavy stone in her stomach. The darkness amplifies her anxiety, the silence broken only by the frantic beat of her own heart. She remains paralyzed by the looming choice, caught between the shadows of doubt and the faint glimmer of hope. In the dim light of her apartment, shadows play across the walls as Sarah stands resolute. Her face reflects the weight of her decision. She whispers, I can't live with the guilt of complicity. Her voice trembles as she declares, I have to do what's right. Sarah hardens her gaze, ready to face whatever lies ahead. Amidst the city's relentless pulse, Sarah prepares to share her findings with an investigative journalist. She clutches a dossier, a beacon of truth in her grasp. The journalist strides confidently towards Sarah, ready to confront the hidden truths. As they meet, Sarah hands over the dossier, the weight of evidence shifting onto the journalist's shoulders. The journalist accepts the dossier, a silent promise to expose the truth. With the exchange complete, Sarah watches as the journalist walks away, the dossier now a catalyst for justice. The newsroom buzzes with frenetic energy, reporters immersed in the VitaLife story. The atmosphere crackles with tension as deadlines loom and the story unfolds. Each keystroke echoes the urgency of uncovering the truth behind VitaLife. Phones ring incessantly, voices overlap, a symphony of breaking news. The air is thick with anticipation, every eye glued to screens and documents. The VitaLife story ignites a firestorm of journalistic pursuit and determination. In the dim morning light, Sarah stares at the television, her eyes wide with disbelief. The news anchor drones on about the VitaLife scandal. A graph illustrates the shocking plunge of the company's stock, each line plummeting like a stone. Sarah's face reflects a mix of shock and dawning realization. The unfolding scandal threatens to shatter everything. The pharmaceutical lab descends into chaos as the scandal breaks. Panic grips Mark Olson as the devastating news spreads. Mark Olson stands frozen, overwhelmed by the unfolding disaster. Mark Olson clutches his head, the weight of the scandal crushing him. Mark Olson stumbles backward, his world collapsing around him. In the solemn atmosphere of the congressional hearing room, Sarah sits alone, her face caught in a stark spotlight. Across from her, a panel of senators observes with a mix of sternness and curiosity, their expressions unreadable. The room buzzes with hushed whispers as reporters and spectators fill every seat, their anticipation hanging heavy in the air. Camera flashes erupt sporadically, momentarily piercing the tense atmosphere, capturing every detail of the unfolding drama. In the heart of a tense congressional hearing, Sarah faces a formidable panel of stern-faced Congress members. The room buzzes with the quiet murmur of reporters and spectators, every glance sharp and expectant. The air crackles with anticipation as Sarah prepares to reveal the concealed truths. Her voice resonates, cutting through the silence. The truth is, VitaLife was causing significant harm to patients, and the company knew it. The weight of her words hangs heavy, each syllable a stone dropped into the still waters of the hearing room. Mark Olson sits at the witness table, sweat glistening on his brow under the intense scrutiny. The senator's gazes bore into him, each stare a silent accusation. Olson attempts to project confidence, but his voice betrays his unease. Each question from the senators is a sharp, relentless probe into his integrity. With each answer, Olsen's credibility crumbles further under the weight of their scrutiny. The pharmaceutical lab is almost desolate, a stark testament to abandonment. A lone employee shuffles through the sterile environment, their posture reflecting defeat. The air hangs heavy with unspoken failure, the absence of activity amplifying the sense of loss. VitaLife's legacy fades into memory as the deserted lab stands as a symbol of shattered hopes. In the dimness of her apartment, Sarah is alone, the silence broken only by the soft glow of a nearby lamp. The piercing ring of the phone shatters the stillness, drawing Sarah from her thoughts. With a start, Sarah reaches for the phone, her expression shifting from quiet contemplation to sudden alertness. She lifts the phone to her ear, her face unreadable as she prepares to speak. Sunlight floods the biotech firm's open offices, where innovation meets unwavering ethics. Sarah strides confidently through the bustling biotech firm, its atmosphere vibrant with collaborative energy. The firm buzzes with collaborative spirit as Sarah moves through the open plan office. In the heart of the biotech firm, Sarah walks purposefully, embodying the company's ethical core. Amidst the open offices of the biotech firm, Sarah embodies the spirit of innovation and integrity. With each step, Sarah navigates the collaborative hub of the biotech firm, championing its ethical mission. In the light-filled office, Sarah settles at her desk, a picture of resolve and renewal. The glow of the monitor illuminates her face as she immerses herself in the task at hand. Each line of data fuels her purpose. A sense of newfound direction washes over her, marking the dawn of a revitalized career. Hope and ambition mingle in her determined gaze. She is reborn. Bathed in the golden sunlight, Sarah and David begin a hopeful walk. A soft breeze whispers through the trees, carrying secrets of the day. Sunlight dapples the path ahead, illuminating their every step. David turns to Sarah, a smile gracing his lips as their shared understanding deepens. Sarah mirrors his expression, her eyes reflecting the quiet triumph of their decision. They both smile, knowing they did the right thing. In the heart of the pharmaceutical lab, a focused energy pulses as scientists pursue groundbreaking discoveries. Amidst the hum of computers and bubbling test tubes, an atmosphere of collaborative transparency fills the lab. Charts adorn the walls, showcasing the meticulous research and unwavering commitment to developing life-saving drugs. The lab stands as a beacon of hope, where dedicated minds converge to transform possibilities into realities. In the radiant news studio, the investigative journalist commands attention at the news desk. Screens glow with Sarah's image, broadcasting headlines that speak of pharmaceutical reforms. Her voice resonates with conviction, painting a picture of change within the pharmaceutical industry. The studio buzzes with purpose, each light and screen a testament to progress. The atmosphere is charged with hope as the journalist continues to deliver the good news. Sarah stands at the window, gazing out with a serene sense of hope, leaving behind the cold confines of corporate ambition. The sterile halls of corporate greed fade behind her as she embraces a brighter horizon. In the quiet solitude of her office, Sarah's hope shines as she prepares to walk away. Her face reflects fulfillment, a silent promise of new beginnings. Sarah's silhouette stands against the window, embodying triumph over corporate expectations. She leaves the office, a symbol of hope, a new chapter. The sterile laboratory hums, its fluorescent lights casting a cold glow over the silent equipment. Sarah Chen's focused gaze is fixed on the complex data displayed on the computer screen. She is standing still, her expression unwavering as she studies the numbers. The data before her holds the key to everything, and her concentration is absolute. Sarah is still, her focus unwavering in the quiet intensity of the lab. The screen pulses with a cascade of data, revealing a grim secret. VitaLife triggers a dangerous spike in cardiac arrhythmias. Numbers flash, each a stark reminder of the drug's deadly side effects. The implications of the data become chillingly clear. VitaLife is a ticking time bomb. A closer look confirms the worst fears. VitaLife poses a significant threat. The data paints a stark picture of risk, demanding immediate action. The screen's glow reflects the urgency of the discovery, signaling a race against time. The sterile quiet of the night is broken only by the hum of the printer as Sarah stands in her cubicle. Her hands tremble slightly, as she watches the incriminating reports emerge. Each printed page is a step further into dangerous territory. The reports are printed. Her face reflects a mix of fear and determination. In the sterile confines of Mark Olson's office, Sarah stands resolute, ready to present her findings. Mark Olson reclines in his chair, a condescending smile betraying his dismissive attitude. Sarah's determination is evident, a stark contrast to the condescension radiating from Mark. The data is presented, hanging in the air between two individuals divided by power and perspective. Mark's smile widens, a mask for his indifference, as Sarah lays out her case. The office atmosphere tightens, the weight of unspoken expectations heavy in the air. Mark sits amidst a fortress of paperwork, an air of detached confidence surrounding him. He maintains a posture of supreme ease, seemingly untouched by the chaos around him. Mark speaks, his tone laced with patronizing assurance. "Sarah, you're new here. Trust the process," he asserts, his words echoing with the weight of unquestioned authority. "These things have a way of working themselves out," Mark concludes with a dismissive wave. In the sterile HR department, Sarah sits, sunlight revealing the unease of her revelations. She leans forward, her words painting a vivid picture of Mark's explosive reaction. The HR representative, a study in bureaucratic coldness, offers no warmth, only a fixed, assessing stare. Dust motes dance in the sunbeams, a silent ballet to Sarah's escalating desperation. The HR representative adjusts her glasses, a gesture as indifferent as her unwavering gaze. The HR department, a room of stark fluorescent lights and clinical precision, is where Miss Chen sits, anxiety etched on her face. Across from her, the HR representative offers a smile, its practiced ease failing to mask the indifference in their eyes. The sterile environment amplifies Miss Chen's unease, the bright lights exposing every flicker of doubt. The HR representative's words, though reassuring, carry the weight of bureaucratic procedure. "We'll look into it, Miss Chen." A dismissive politeness hangs heavy in the air as they add, "Thank you for bringing this to our attention." Miss Chen's hope diminishes, overshadowed by the chilling realization that her concerns may vanish into the system. Weeks later, Sarah finds herself banished to a dim, windowless basement office, swallowed by towering stacks of forgotten paperwork. The oppressive atmosphere weighs heavily as Sarah navigates the labyrinthine piles of documents. Each document serves as a stark reminder of her demotion, a calculated act of retribution. The weight of the reassignment bears down, each file a symbol of her unjust exile. In the heart of the basement, Sarah stands firm, her eyes reflecting a quiet storm of defiance against the unfair reassignment. In the dimly lit basement office, Sarah sits hunched over a cluttered desk, a single lamp casting long shadows. Her brow furrows in intense concentration as she meticulously documents every threat and retaliation. The scratching of her pen echoes in the silence, each stroke deliberate and precise. With unwavering focus, Sarah records every interaction, the weight of her task heavy in the air. Sarah sits alone in the stark lab cafeteria, a picture of quiet isolation. She eats with mechanical precision, the sterile environment amplifying her solitude. David, a senior scientist marked by time, approaches her table, his expression thoughtful. He carries a simple lunch, a small offering against the backdrop of the impersonal lab. The cafeteria's cold ambience casts a shadow, dimming Sarah's spirits. David's approach offers a glimmer of warmth in the sterile setting. The sterile hum of lab equipment fades, replaced by the quiet clatter of plastic trays in the cafeteria. David speaks, his voice grave. "I've heard whispers about what happened with VitaLife, Sarah." He continues, a hint of discontent in his tone. "I'm not happy with what's going on here either." Sarah listens intently, the weight of David's words settling heavily in the sterile air. The gravity of their conversation hangs in stark contrast to the mundane setting of the lab cafeteria. In the dimly lit office, Sarah and David huddle together, their faces lit by the cold glow of computer screens. They pore over notes, each line examined with intense scrutiny, as they piece together fragments of truth. Shadows dance around them, enhancing the gravity of their secret work. The atmosphere thickens with each hushed word, each shared glance. Evidence mounts, painting a stark picture in the clandestine space. In David's office, The silence screams volumes as David and Sarah face each other. David breaks the heavy silence. "This is bigger than both of us, Sarah." His voice resonates with urgency. "We have to do something." Sarah stands, her expression unreadable, as the weight of David's words hangs in the air. In the dimness, Sarah's eyes reflect a storm of inner conflict as she stares into the abyss of her own ceiling. The weight of her impending choice presses down, each possibility a heavy burden in the silence. The decision looms, casting long shadows across her thoughts as the night deepens. Each option feels like a stone, sinking her deeper into uncertainty and dread. Sunlight floods Sarah's apartment, yet shadows cling to her face as she grapples with a weighty choice. Dust motes dance in the golden light, each speck a reminder of time passing and decisions looming. Her resolve hardens, her eyes reflecting a steely determination to confront the truth. The weight of complicity bears down on her. "I can't live with the guilt of complicity." Her voice gains strength, a defiant whisper against the quiet of her apartment. "I have to do what's right." A decision made, Sarah's gaze sharpens, ready to face the consequences of her choice.